Agriculture was really important back in the early times because people needed food to survive. Today, most of us buy the food that we eat, but in the early days of Fall Creek, there were no grocery stores. The grocery stores were also too far away to travel. Agriculture has changed drastically over many years due to better technology and the urge to make life easier. Though agriculture has changed a lot over time, it has been really important through time.
Thousands of years ago, large icy glaciers came over to northern Wisconsin. They flattened down mountains and cut down forests. They shaped valleys and crushed large rocks into light, wispy sand. Then it all melted away. In the valleys, there were rivers on the side of them, and the sand particles by the glaciers, pine trees grew taller. After the glaciers flattened the ground, trees grew and people came and wanted to start farms. But they had to cut the trees down and pull rocks out of the dirt so they could have open space for fields, barns, and houses.
Jonathan Carver was the first man to write about this area. He traveled up the Chippewa River in 1767. He saw trees 6 feet around and animals such as buffaloes and elk.
Before people could farm the land, they had to cut down the trees. There were thick forests all throughout the area. They also planted bushes and trees to stop erosion. At first, Germans did not practice good agricultural maintenance, but over the years they learned to keep the bushes and wood along the river, which actually helped prevent erosion. They got better at it.
Before the invention of the tractor, you used horse and buggy to get from place to place and to take milk bottles or tools to your destination. This made life harder for farmers. Taking things from point A to point B took longer. A lot of the power for the first settlers was horse or oxen. Horse and oxen would pull a wagon or buggy to get around town or on trips. Finally, in 1834, the first harvesting machine was built, called a reaper. A reaper cuts and often gathers crops.
Life on farms was already very difficult, but the weather made it more difficult. Tornadoes occurred occasionally back in this time due to all the flat land and harsh winds. Hail and frost really had a bad effect on the farms, and it still does. It could also destroy the farmers' crops they planted.
John Furlick built the first gasoline tractor. It was built near 1892 in Clayton County, Iowa. The tractor was a Van Dusen single-cylinder gasoline engine. It was put on a Robinson engine chassis, which could be controlled by Furlick's gearbox. From here on out, tractors would be produced all over the world. As time went on, tractors became more common and powerful. Then came the 1900s, and tractors became the #1 tool for farmers. Thanks to technology, farming is much easier. While farming has become much more efficient, natural disasters could still create big problems for farmers. But the grasshopper outbreak in the 1900s was way worse. During the grasshopper outbreak, there was a black sky, and the grasshoppers ate everything in their path, till some people made a chemical called DDT. DDT is a compound insecticide, which is what killed the grasshoppers. Middle era farming land is 80 acres for $40,000. And $500 sometimes per acre. Sometimes people that want to be farmers are given land by the government. Farmland is very important to people, but food was way more important. They needed it to survive, and prices for food were very small amounts. They were small to us, but big amounts back then.
A bread loaf is 6 cents, a dozen eggs is 17 to 35 cents, dairy butter is 22 to 28 cents, and a hay bale is $8 to $10.
Jim Tum grew up on a farm just outside of Fall Creek in the town of Ludington. We talked with him to find out what farming was like during the 1950s, 60s, and 70s.
What do you think? I'm different than you guys? I hated chores. I guess I had a little lamb that I used to feed with a bottle when I was real young. I enjoyed that. I can still remember feeding that lamb a lot. So that was probably one of my most favorite chores to do on this place.
Reapers and grain binders have been largely replaced by combines in farming, but some small farms or Amish still use them. Transporting crops to markets became easier in the modern time. They used railroads and train, then a station that shipped them out along with the train.
Now it is easy to transport crops because we have big grain trucks. Manufactured farms are making family farms go out of business. Now the government has huge dairy farms, and family farms are switching to beef cattle. Some people say that small farms' milk tastes better. To find out more about what farming was like in the 21st century, we interviewed Allison Deutsch, who operated a small dairy farm and pig farm just east of Osseo.
We like everything about farming. We enjoy working outside, working with the animals. We raise pigs and cows, and we enjoy working together as a family. So that's probably the most important thing.
While agriculture continues to change, it will always be an important industry.
Agriculture has changed much over time, affecting the farmers' lifestyles.
Even though family farms are not as common as they used to be, we will still have a number of them in our area, and they are an important part of Fall Creek